request the court officials, if possible, please, let's also keep social distancing. We only keep to those who have to be here, if possible. Thank you, sir.
As it pleases the court, your worship, case 20/520 of 20, State versus Marquesi, and 15 others. Firstly, your worship, there is an adding of accused, that is accused 14, 15, and 16 as indicated on the charge sheet. And then there is the issue of accused number 1 who is not present. His attorney or legal representative will address your worship on that issue. And then, as I said, it is the first appearance for or of accused 14, 15, and 16. There is the issue pertaining to bail. Just before we continue, I just wish to hand in the new indictment so that the court knows what the charges against all the accused are.
Thank you.
That is the final document for purposes of trial in the High Court. I shall address the court a bit later on pertaining to the transfer to the High Court.
Thank you. I see there's 3 people in the dock. Are these the newly added?
They are accused 14, 15, and 16. The rest of the accused are in court, they're just sitting apart.
You said accused number 1 is not here. Who's the legal representative for accused number 1?
Your Worship, my name is ANC Secretary. I appear on behalf of accused number 1. Accused number 1 was operated on the 16th of February, and I provided the prosecuting authority with a medical certificate.
Your Worship, sorry for interrupting. I put the appearances document right at the end, as it pleases the court.
Operated on?
On 16th February 2021. I have provided the prosecuting authority with a copy of the medical certificate, and with your permission I would also then hand up a copy to the court. Yeah, no doubt.
Yes, sir.
Your Worship, the arrangement that we've made with the prosecuting authorities that a warrant be issued and then be held over until the next appearance on the 11th of August. It's my instructions that the accused will not be able to appear for quite some time. He was, as you can see from the medical note, that he was operated on the 16th of February.
The challenge I have is that the medical note doesn't tell me that. It just tells me that he is not fit from the 11th until the 15th of February.
In the second line, Your Worship, it says medical operation 16 February 2021, and in the sick leave period from the 15th of February. It does not specify the illness, and as I understand, it's no longer necessary for the medical practitioner.
So he's still hospitalized? He's still hospitalized?
Hospitalized.
Your Worship, from the side of the state, we have no objection against the handing in thereof, and the state accepts the contents of that document, as it pleases.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I'll deal with the later once I'm postponing the matter.
As it chooses the board.
Thank you. Are we starting with the bail applications? What is the position?
Indeed, Your Worship.
Thank you. Ms. Nozipho Belina Mudikwe. Are you Ms. Nozipho Belina Mudikwe? Please swap positions. The way you are seated, but now you just changed direction. You're still in the middle, sir? You're still in the middle. She is now added as accused number 14.
That is correct, Your Worship.
Mr. Lube? Advocate Lube? Yes, we're starting with the bail application of your client.
Bishop, confirm my appearance on behalf of the accused 14.
The bail application, you are aware that the applicant bears the honors of proving on the balance of probability that the interest of justice permits his release. And for the record, the defense for all three applicants submitted the affidavits in chambers for me to peruse in order for us not to read same into the record to save time. Ms. Mudikwe, do you confirm that you were informed of that the affidavit doesn't have to be read into the record today? What language do you speak, ma'am? Please stand up. What language do you speak?
Excuse me?
What language do you speak?
I speak, can you communicate in English?
In English, because I can't hear you. Do you confirm that it's not necessary, due to time and the regulations regarding COVID-19, for your affidavit to be read into the record?
I confirm, sir.
Thank you. Do you submit the affidavit, Mr. Lupe?
Yes, Your Worship.
The affidavit by applicant number 1, who is accused number 14, is hereby admitted. The number of the exhibit itself will be later confirmed, as the record is so thin, the court has to go through it. But same has been admitted.
As please.
Any further evidence, sir?
No, Your Worship.
I do not see your client's income unless I'm missing something on the affidavit.
Your Worship, that aspect can be addressed if necessary.
It is necessary because I have to determine which amount of bail to be set.
Your Worship, as it pleases, in the affidavit it is addressed that as per the informal agreement with the state, the bail of 50,000 will be accepted.
That's for me to decide.
As it
sir.
pleases.
I need to know the
May I leave that
your
evidence
client's
to that
income,
extent?
please.
As please.
Just the income.
Your income, what do you presently earn? Can you please confirm that to the court? Your monthly salary.
Monthly salary is 90,000.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bishop. Any further evidence?
Bishop, unless there's anything specific that the court would like me to lead evidence on, that is the evidence.
Thank you, sir.
As please.
Case for applicant number 1, accused number 14. That will be Kratle, for accused number 15, the second applicant in this application. The same applies with regard to the affidavit, is that correct?
Indeed so, Your Worship.
And the court indeed has perused the affidavit. I just will need to confirm from your client. Mr. Makepe, please stand up, sir. Together with your legal representative and the prosecution, there was an agreement reached that due to COVID-19 regulations and to save time, your affidavit doesn't have to be read into the record. Thank you, sir. I take it it's up to me to decide what amount of bail to set. There's no suggestion from your side.
Your Worship, we discussed the matter with the state. There's X amount that has been arranged, but in the amount of 50,000. But if that amount is lower, that will be very much appreciated on behalf of the second applicant.
Thank you, sir.
That's what it
Is that the second applicant's case?
is. Indeed so.
Thank you, second applicant's case. The affidavit also will be recorded at the end of the proceedings. It is admitted into the record.
as a court.
Mr. Kramer, choose number 15, the third applicant in this case.
Yes, we should also confirm I had it in the affidavit in chambers, and I will ask that you accept it as an exhibit before court. Secondly, we should, I think it's in the interest of justice, given the statement and the fact that the state doesn't oppose this matter, that you should give the release on that. There is informal agreement to about 50,000, that's everybody indicated for sure, but I'll leave it in the court.
Thank you. Mr. Fender, please stand up, sir. An agreement was reached with your legal representative that your affidavit doesn't have to be read into the record, as the court has gone through it and due to COVID-19 regulations to save time. Do you confirm that?
I confirm it.
Thank you. The affidavit by the third applicant was accused number 15, also admitted and will later be marked as exhibit. Thank you, Mr. Denison.
As it pleases the court, I have no objection against the mere handing in of these affidavits. Your Worship, it is correct, as my learned colleague stated, that there is an informal agreement that bail can be granted in the amount of 50,000 rand. Of course, the court has the last say in this regard. But the state is also of the view that it is in the interest of justice that the people, the accused, be released on bail, as it pleased. Yeah, just for the record, the state is not going to deduce any evidence.
You may stand up, Ms. Mudikwe. The judgment, the bail application, the applicant is Ms. Nozipo Pelina Mudikwe. The first applicant was accused number 14. He is 40 years of age, married with 2 minor children aged 12 and 9. She indicates that she's a breadwinner earning a salary of around 90,000 rands per month, resides in Bloemfontein. She has a passport and is willing to hand same to the investigating officer. Those are some of the information that is contained in the affidavit, which the court will not bother to read in detail, save to state that the court has indeed considered the said affidavit and the information therein. And having considered the provisions of section 60, subsection 4, and the fact that the applicant bears the onus of proving that the interest of justice permits her release on bail, having been given an opportunity to adduce evidence which has indicated has already been admitted, the court has to consider then whether any of the factors mentioned in section 60, subsection 4, paragraph A to E, read with subsection 5 to 8 have been established. And in this instance, the prosecution is not opposed to the release of the applicant. As I indicated, she is willing to hand over a passport to the state. And other than that, there is no factor, as mentioned in section 60, subsection 4, paragraph A to E, that the court finds to exist. And as such, the interest of justice do permit the release of the applicant on bail. And the applicant, number 1 in this application, accused number 14, is granted bail in the amount of 50,000 rands. Thank you. You may sit down. The second applicant, Mr. Tabiso Makipe. The applicant is the second applicant in accused number 15 in the main charge, and he is 42 years of age, married with 3 children, age 8 and twins that are aged 5 years. He earns a salary of 88,000 rands per month, and is also willing to submit his passport to the surrender his passport to the investigating officer. And the other factors appear in the affidavit, which the court will not bother to repeat. As safe to state that the court has considered all the contents of the said affidavit, and the state has indicated is not opposed to the release of the applicant, as they do not believe that the interests of justice do not permit his release. Having considered all of those factors and the factors mentioned in section 60, subsection 4, paragraph A to E, read with subsection 5 to 8, the court finds that the interest of justice permit your release on bail, sir. You are also granted bail in the amount of 50,000 rand.
As a court.
Thank you. Mr. Fender. Third applicant in this application, and accused number 16, 64 years of age, married with no dependents, and a salary of 98,000 rands. The court has considered all the information that is supplied in the affidavit that has been admitted as part of the record, and the fact that the state is not opposed to the release of the applicant. The court has considered the provisions of section 60, subsection 4, paragraph A to E, and the relevant subsections, and found that the interest of justice permit your release on bail, sir. You are granted bail in the amount of 50,000 rand. Thank you.
Your Worship, then there is the issue of the representation of accused 5 and 6 respectively. The initial director of Diamond Hill Trading 71 Pty Limited was murdered as indicated in the indictment. We have now cited an alternative director, being Lindy Kaya.
You're only dealing with 5 and 6.
I am only dealing with 5 and 6, the companies.
Yes.
We have then cited Lindy Kaya Mpambani. On behalf or representing accused number 5 and pertaining to accused number 6, Michelle Mpambani. I wish to place it on record, Your Worship, that these individuals are not charged as accused. They are merely representing the 2 entities that are indeed charged with several counts of fraud, money laundering, and so forth. I would, however, from the state side, suggest that they get legal representation. As a matter of fact, one of them has legal representation. I have been contacted. But it is a mere suggestion that they be represented in the High Court. Rather not they, but their companies. The documents served upon them, Your Worship, are the following. I hand in both of them for completeness of the record. And Your Worship will see that they are indeed brought before court as representatives of the different entities. Your Worship, my learned colleague here to my right indicates that he would like to address the court on this issue.
Please the court, Your Worship. My name is Lungisan
Mancha.
Yes.
Lungisan.
Yes.
Mancha ANC SG.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I do appear on behalf of accused 6 and 5. Accused 5 is Erwin, and accused 6 is 605 Gonzalo. I do appear on.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, please.
Anything else with Mr. Jason?
Thank you, Worship. The state is now going to request that the matter be transferred to the High Court, Free State Division of the High Court here in Bloemfontein, in terms of Section 75(1) of the Criminal Procedure Act. Now, I know that normally there are a number of documents handed in by the prosecutor, the VAs, and so forth. We deemed it not necessary since I represent the Director of Public Prosecutions and can address all the necessary issues if there may arise some. I now hand a copy of the indictment to each and every one of these accused.
Please do so.
Warrant.
Yes. All the students. So all the other accused, except accused number 1, are present.
That is correct. Pertaining to that issue, while the orderly is handing out these documents, my colleague Mr. Piper will just address you on that issue, the pertaining to the serving of the document.
Yes, sir.
Your Worship, it's true that the document has to be served on the accused himself. The accused in this instance gave me a special power of attorney in writing to accept the indictment on his behalf. And I'm of the view that this is only a practical way to deal with the matter, going forward without having to postpone the matter again for service on accused number 1 in the magistrate court. With your permission, I would also then provide you with a copy of this special power of attorney. I've already provided the prosecuting authority with the same.
Thank you, sir. Just for the record, the exhibits that were received, exhibit HIJ, respectively, and the power of attorney document is marked exhibit K. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yes, pertaining to this issue, Mr. Piper did contact me yesterday pertaining to the position of accused number 1. Although this is not the normal procedure, I have, from the side of the state, no problem with this manner of doing, because it was agreed on this manner of service. For if we did not do it this way, then this matter would have to be postponed again, causing great inconvenience to a lot of people. So, in the light thereof, I now hand to Mr. Piper a copy of the indictment. Thank you, Bishop.
The other legal representatives present. The legal representative of accused number 2, Mahlomula John Matlakala.
As a court, please, Your Worship, confirm my appearance on accused number 2.
Mr. Edwin Sodi.
Your Worship, I also appear on behalf of Mr. Sodi and Blackhead Consulting, the company that is representing accused number 4.
Mr. Manjari, we've already confirmed your appearance for 5 and 6. Choose number 7, Abel Kotominyaki. Sorry. I skipped the page. Choose number 7, Silo Academy.
Yes.
Yes. Is there anyone on behalf of Magistrate? 232.
Your Worship, I'd like to bring to the attention of the court that Magistrate is currently liquidated and the liquidators have not tried to do so.
Abel Kotominyaki.
Your Worship, I also confirm my appearance on behalf of accused number 9, Munyaki.
Ori Group. Ori Group.
And number 10 as well, Your Worship.
Tabani Wiseman Zulu.
Your Worship, I appear for accused number 11. Name is Jorgensen, initial P. I'm instructed to run Bearcoot Media Incorporated. I'd also like to confirm and acknowledge receipt of the filing indictment, Your Worship. Thank you.
Saram Lamledi.
Worship, I do confirm appearance on behalf of Mr. Legrand.
Lip.
Legrand, L-E-A-A-B-E. That is the number.
Elias Magashule.
Thank you, Your Worship. My name is Victor Mpashu, Your Worship. NKHWASHU. I act on behalf of Mr. Magashule.
I've already had the representative of accused number 14, 15, and 16 confirmed. Sorry, Mr. Magashule, you confirm receipt of your indictments on behalf of the client?
I have not seen it, however, it was handed to my client, Your Worship. I see my learned friend has got an extra copy, to which I confirm receipt that I now have been done. Thank you.
Mr. Likabi, can I get back to you to confirm receipt?
Your Worship, it's been handed over to client, so I believe I would say I confirm receipt of the indictment.
Elizabeth, you confirm receipt of indictment?
Your Worship, I understand that Mr. Zulu has received it.
Okay, you've already confirmed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you confirm, sir?
Yes, Your Worship.
Thank you. Mr. Kate?
I also confirm.
Thank you. Mr. Kramer?
I also confirm.
Thank you. Accused all received their indictments. Confirmed.
Thank you, Your Worship. We shall now relieve this Honourable Court of the burden of this case and ask that the matter be transferred to the High Court for appearance on the 11th of August of this year. Unfortunately, it is the only date that suits all the legal representatives. Your Worship, that will be for a pre-trial in the High Court in Bloemfontein. State request that a warrant of arrest be issued for accused number 1 but held over or held in abeyance to that said date. The rest of the accused can be released on bail again and warned to appear on the 11th of August as a piece of court.
I take it all legal representatives confirm the date.
Your Worship, just to add the One outstanding issue is that of disclosure of the police docket, which we will liaise with the state in order for us to furnish the copies of the docket in order to participate meaningfully in the pre-trial.
I see Mr. Denison is nodding. I can take that as an undertaking on his part.
Mr. Courtney.
Thank you. Yes, bail of accused number 1 is provisionally cancelled. Bail money provisionally forfeited to the state. Warrant of arrest is authorized but held over until the 11th of August 2021. The accused, please stand. All of you stand up. I'm hoping that you're audible enough. The matter in terms of Section 75, subsection 2 of the Criminal Procedure Act 51 of 1977 is transferred to the Free State High Court for pre-trial proceedings on the 11th of August 2021. Accused number 1, as indicated, his bail is provisionally cancelled but warrant is held over. Accused number 2, number 3, number 7, number 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I'll come back to accused number 14, 15, 16. Either accused up to number 13. Your bail is extended. You all want to appear in the Free State High Court at half past 8. I'll only for half past 8 for pre-trial proceedings. Your bail is extended. Accused number 14, 15, 16, as indicated, your bail is 50,000 rands each. If paid, you also want to appear at half past 8 at the said High Court on the said date. Thank you. Thank you. You are all excused.
Thank you.
Thank you, Worship. That concludes our role. May we be excused.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Worship.
We are adjourned, so anyone wants to leave the seat.
Thank you.
I just need to sort out my record.